Alright, we got our ninth and final game against Misfit. And I think I really like this hand. Yeah, 2 3-drops if we have the power to cast them, plus Spire Spell Sword and a fast spell. Let's do this. Oni Ronin. Oh, okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, we'll play the Spell Sword and pass turn. Sure, no blocks. Yep. I think we're okay making this attack, and then just playing a 2-2 and passing turn. So, I guess the question is... Yeah, we might as well play the Frontier Bard right now, because I think that'll give him more incentive to double block this, and that's kind of what we're in for right now. I guess the alternative is Rusty Grenum Motive this turn, which might give us more mana to develop with next turn. Yeah, maybe that's alright. Let's just do that. Kind of like the sound of that. Because we're going to have 3 next this turn, play this, 4 with this, and then 5 when we attack. So we can go this guy past turn. Then this will be our 4th. When it attacks, it'll be our 5th. So we can play the Frontier Bard, attack, and then Into the Furnace will be our 5th power. Oh. That's no good. Let's attack with this. I would love to see this get through. Okay, sure. That's fine. We'll play the Frontier Bard and pass turn. Still puts us in a reasonably good spot. This is a little bit awkward, but I think at the very least it's like a War Painter. Or an old War Painter. Sure. Yep, you got a Pyre Elemental. I'm gonna say no blocks on that. Yeah. We're still at like high enough life total, I don't think it's gonna matter that much. We can attack with this. Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is that like we have a Spire Spell Sword that can help us lifesteal our way back into the game. So it's not super important. Although the argument for blocking this is Into the Furnace, which is quite good. Yeah, I think I want to block that now. Sure. I think I like this, and let's just pass. Sure, no blocks. See if this works. Is this lethal if he doesn't block with anything? I think it is. Well, no, it's not lethal, but it's, like, with 2 spells in hand, I think we're pretty good shape here. Yeah, what do you have? So, I'm gonna say this first, because if he has a damage spell, then we can save our guy with this card. Yeah, if this is like a torch or something. Yeah, okay, perfect. And then we'll use this to give it +4/+4 to make it into an 8/6, and that'll be just enough to keep it alive. Yeah, okay, so that worked out really well for us. The Into the Furnace was really just bait right there. I think one thing to keep in mind is, like, if I seriously just wanted to trade this for that, well, I guess it is quick draw, so there was incentive for me to do it the way I did. Yeah, but that worked out really well for us. A space, sure. And with 1 more Into the Furnace in hand and a Granite and Void, I feel really good about our chances here. Alrighty. Okay, awesome. We ended up 7-2 with what I thought, quite frankly, was not the best deck. But, you know, we had a lot of really good things going on, so maybe not the worst thing, or maybe not the most unexpected thing that happened the way it did. But let's take a look at the deck real quick. Whoops. Right here. Okay. Yeah, so right off the bat, I guess I should mention, I've been trying to play more aggressive decks because I recently spoke with Sunnyvale about this, and Sunnyvale has a very... for those of you that don't know, Sunnyvale is a drafter who makes content for Eternal Titans, and I consider him to be one of the better drafters that makes content, but more than that, he has a very unique style, and he's very high on a lot of just kind of innocuous seeming one drops, like Spire Spell Swords, and Drifter's another one he's a really big fan of. But a lot of his decks turn out something like this. And the cards themselves aren't very strong, but the way the games play out, it works out really, really well for him. And what I mean by that is sort of this idea tossed around in other disciplines that the sum of the parts, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And it's just the individual cards themselves aren't that good, but put together they do some really cool things. Some examples of that would be these Granadin drones are, I mean, they're not bad. 2 power and 2 health for 1, or 2 attack and 2 health for 1 power is obviously a pretty good rate. But then these Into the Furnaces get way better once we have a couple of Granadins in the yard. Spire Spell Swords, we're playing with 7 fast spells and a Fiery Fissure, in addition to a Hut Blood Barbarian and 2 Workshop Tinkers that can also make spells. These are significantly better the more fast spells you have. And without a critical mass of fast spells, they're just not doing anything good. Yeah, what else? Frontier Bard is, I think, a card that is okay in mid-range decks as a 3-mana 2/4. And the Inspire to give Overwhelm is honestly not super exciting. It's not nearly as good as Hyrix Coach Driver that gives Deadly, or even Living Example that gives +1/+1. The Overwhelm stat is really at its best in aggressive shells like this. And so I think this card really shined in our deck. Not to mention that because we were always attacking, it was really easy to get the +1 attack, +1 attack, +1 attack. He's kind of a really interesting card in that he's both an enabler by giving your units Overwhelm, and he's a payoff card. So he enables himself by giving your other units Overwhelm, and then when they hit the opponent, that has the potential to make him stronger as well. Also, he's just a great stat line. Let's see. Renegade Valkyrie is another card I've never been too high on, but that was another one that's been recommended to me. This one worked out really, really well. Field Captain, still not so sure about this one. I think, in a deck like this, it's pretty good. You're going to do a lot of attacking. Even playing it as a 5/5 for 5 is pretty reasonable. The problem with it is it costs 5 power. And we even cut a Steelbound Dragon from this deck. A 7-mana 7/7 flyer with Overwhelm is really flippin' good. There's nothing... There are very few flyers that are big enough to deal with that in the sky. But we just straight up cut that because the curve of our deck was just way too low for it. Something like Field Captain, I don't think we ever cast this. I think we discarded it to Hopla Barbarian or Workshop Tinker at some point. But even then, it's kind of I don't know. Is that the best this card does? Is literally just gets discarded. So for this card, I think this faction combination, the Rakano faction combination, is very aggressive, and I'm not sure this really slots into that. We'd much rather have something if we're looking for a con, we'd much rather have something a Whirling Duo. It has charge, it helps you race, 3/3 for 3 is a good stat line. So yeah, I don't know. Nothing here. I think Field Captain might have been the only one. Tinker Overseer is also another card I haven't played with, but everything else was you know, I wouldn't say predictably good, but it kind of did what it was supposed to. And just the way the deck was constructed really gave us a lot of leeway in picking some less powerful cards just to make the deck itself a lot more lean and focused in killing our opponent sooner. Okay, yeah, don't need to save that. As always, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, really glad that you guys did. I'm thinking this video will be up on YouTube and Reddit, same as always. And I've started doing something new where I include a couple of picks in the draft and a game or two that I thought were really good and well played. And you know, for those of you who have are really looking to get better at draft, or just kind of curious about like my thought process or any sort of decisions I made, feel free to ask any questions. But also, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the draft itself. If there were, like I said, I'm gonna pick out a couple of picks in the draft that I thought were like pretty interesting. But if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about or think that I might have been able to do better, by all means, let me know. I love talking about this stuff, and I'm a firm believer that there's not only one right way to draft. You know, there's a lot of different ways to draft out there. Direwolf Digital's done an excellent job making Set 4 draft into a deep draft format, and so you can like obviously some faction combinations are going to be better than others, but at the end of the day, it really just depends on you being able to read the signals and moving into the factions that are most available, which I think is a sign of a really great draft format, as opposed to like I don't know, Set 3 Dusk Road. There was a time where it was like, yeah, you just force justice because it's the best faction. Why wouldn't you? But then everybody does it. You run into some other problems. Okay, as always, thanks for watching, and hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next time.